Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. I am so excited to be here today. And hang on one second, we're just going to grab Instagram and make sure that it is live. And then we are going to talk about my special guest. And okay, good. We are all set. Well, hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. Today I have Chef Yin with us, and we are here to talk about the raw vegan bundle and her contribution, the raw Chinese takeout. And I'm super excited. Welcome. How are you, Chef Yin?
Hi, Jennifer. Hi, everyone. Glad to be here. Good to see you again, actually. Yeah, I love your kitchen and I love how bright and vibrant your fruits look on the table.
Oh, thank you so much. I just to have a nice reminder, right, of what I really believe in. And so thank you. Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. Like last time we were together, I think it was the other bundle that we were promoting. And it was really a fun time to be with you. And so thank you so much for wanting to hang out with me. And so if you don't know what we're talking about, there is the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle going on right now through May 11th. And you can go to either one of our bios and click on the link, and then you'll be able to download it and get it. It's an amazing amount of, aren't there 32 contributors?
There are 32 resources. Yeah, so I think
32 resources.
some contributors contributed more, and then there were also a lot of contributors in the World Favorites group collaboration ebook as well. Yeah, so
Yes, thank you so much. And so you have until May 11th. It's worth, I heard like $1,300, but you can get it for $50. And it is filled with so many wonderful things. You don't have to be raw to get the raw vegan bundle, but it might make you want to try it. So where you have yours in your bio, and I have mine in mine, and you brought in the raw Chinese takeout
yes.
book.
Yeah, I think this was a very fun course to work on. So my contribution, I have developed some of my favorite Chinese takeout recipes, and I've developed the recipes. They're all oil free. They're all raw vegan, low fat as well, and there's also corresponding video tutorials. So I give you the step by step recipes, and I also show you how to actually make it, because personally I'm a visual learner, so I like learning through videos. So yeah, I've been recording the videos. I've been working on this course since last year, actually. So yeah, and I was just telling Chris Cantle yesterday, I said, like, the General Tso's chicken, I was been working on that since like October, and then I had to develop it a few times before I was happy with the sauce, the taste, and then it took me a long time to figure out the chicken bits as well. And then I tried different things, and then I finally got hold of some lion's mane mushroom, and then that worked really well. And that's like my boyfriend's favorite dish in the course. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That is amazing. I love lion's mane. I have a quick question for you. So,
Yeah.
when I was looking at your book, and it is beautiful and looks great, I saw a lot of the videos that you're talking about. Is there a written out recipe for each one, or is it just the videos for the visualization?
So I mentioned that there is actually a course booklet. So that is a PDF, and it's right, if you guys have gotten the bundle and you log on, right at the top you should see something that says Chinese takeout course booklet download. You can either download it and it'll come out as a PDF, or you can read it on your Kindle as well, or
Ooh.
you can read it directly on the Gumroad website as well. Yeah. So you have three options for that. So I know some people miss it though, because I do have people like writing back to me from time to time saying like, oh, where are the actual recipes? Have you typed out? I said, yeah, it's out. It's just that maybe they missed that part. They just went straight into the videos, but it's actually above the videos. And I actually wrote something there, a note there to say, remember to download the course booklet before you watch the videos. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad that I brought that up because just to make very good clarification. And I want to take a minute just to say hello to everyone in the chat. We have Colleen is saying hi. Apple a Day says hi again, Jennifer and Todd. And hi to Chef Yin. Bernadette is here. Hello. And everybody is just saying hello. Let's see. Bernadette said, I saw Lisa and Nate eating some of Chef Yin's recipes. That's amazing. And and you know what I will say, I was starting to make your recipe. I was doing the mushroom sauce, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
I was
yeah.
going to do the chicken cashew chicken dish.
Oh, nice. I like that
But
a lot. Yeah.
yeah, oh, I'm so excited. But I ran out of time, but I said, okay, I'm gonna have some of the ingredients out here. Like,
Oh,
and
nice.
one thing is if like I have these mushrooms, um, because you use dried mushrooms, you use fresh mushrooms, you use a lot of
Yeah.
different mushrooms in the different dishes. And so I didn't have the exact one you had. I have this stir fry blend. Is it okay to mix different types of the mushrooms if you can't find the exact type? I wanted to ask you that because the flavor, I didn't know if it would change.
Is that the fresh? Can I have a look at the fresh? Is that dried or is it fresh?
This one is dried. This one is
Oh,
dried,
okay.
and this one is fresh. But like right
Oh,
now, I
nice.
don't have the king mushroom, but I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
these. Or like
Yeah,
I
I
didn't.
think I think those the fresh ones are fine. The dried ones, if you can actually find the shiitake mushrooms in the blend, that would be good because traditionally for Chinese cooking, we use a lot of shiitake mushrooms, and the dried shiitake mushrooms and the fresh, they taste slightly different. The dried ones has a lot of umami, so that's why I put that in the sauce. The thinking was, yeah, the thinking behind it was basically to have the umami, and also maybe not to use so much nutritional yeast because some people feel that it's a bit processed, and not and some people are also allergic to nutritional yeast, although then some people are allergic to shiitake as well, so it's a
Right.
bit hard to cater for everyone. But I think my main reason was because in Chinese cooking, the shiitake mushrooms are very, very prominent. Yeah, I've been like eating shiitake mushrooms since, like, I don't know, since I was a kid, because I'm of Chinese descent. I'm Malaysian, but I'm actually of Chinese descent, third generation Chinese here. Yeah, so I think my great great grandparents are from China. Yeah,
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm so glad that we talked about that because, um, I have shiitake mushrooms, but I have them in the freezer and sometimes I buy them fresh. But
right.
when I find dry, usually, and I don't know, Todd, if you'll be able to grab that big one I could show that's upstairs. Usually we find it in a mix, like a medley or a blend.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's really good. I just want to say a couple people are saying, Colleen says, I'm looking forward to trying so many of the recipes in the bundle. Yay. And Apple a Day says, Chef Yin is a fantastic teacher. I
Oh,
learned
thank
how
you.
to make tempeh from one of her courses. It's not in the bundle, but yes, you're right. I believe she is a great teacher. And then Donna W says, thanks so much for including your tutorials in your book. Do you have a printed paper book available?
I have two printed paper books, but they're not available. Okay, I have two printed paper books, but they're not for the Chinese takeout. One is the one that I self-published, my Raw Vegan Delights book, but that's only available. Actually, that's out of print, but it's available as an ebook on my rawchefyin.gumroad.com website. Raw Vegan Delights Asian Edition. That was my very first book, my book and ebook that I wrote. That was available in Malaysia. Well, I think you can still get it in the National Library in Malaysia. There are like 3 copies there. So yeah, anybody who is watching this in Malaysia, and if you're in KL, you can go to the National Library in KL to check it out. I do have another book printed book on desserts, which was published by one of the well-known publishers here in Malaysia, and it's available in the bookstores in Malaysia nationwide and in Singapore. They actually do ship to the US and Europe and all that. The only thing is that it's I think shipping it's more expensive than the book itself. Because
Oh,
the book is like, I think about maybe like is it $6 US? Yeah, about 6, 7 US dollars. But the shipping will most probably come up to like 25 or something. I don't
isn't
know.
that crazy? Oh yeah, I can.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So I would just recommend, you get my ebooks or you get the bundle. I mean, if you want to print, I actually like for this Chinese takeout course, I actually wrote there in the, one in the copyright page that you may print one copy of this book for your personal use as well, because I know some people prefer print versions. So yeah, if you're going to Staples to print it out, I've put that there. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And that's really good to know. And how exciting and cool is it that you have your books in your library? I love that.
Yeah. It's so cool. It's
Oh,
it's it's sometimes I forget. Yeah, I forget like how amazing it is. Sometimes I'm like, oh my god, I. Sometimes I'm like, I have a book, and I don't know whether I mentioned this on the previous show that it actually hit the Kinokuniya Malaysia's best-selling list in November 2020. It came out in November. Yeah, so and for that month it hit the bestsellers list. So
congratulations. That is so
thank you.
exciting. So exciting. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that. But Todd did bring this down just to show you, like, I have
Oh, nice.
this big one.
Wow.
And it says what's the blend is yellow. Oh gosh, how do I pronounce this? Boletus, Boletus,
All right.
boletus. Sorry, oyster mushrooms, portobello, porcini, and that's it. So this doesn't have the shiitake.
It's okay. I think you can use porcini as well. Porcini has a good flavor as well. That gives it some good umami as well. Because all mushrooms would have the umami flavor. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then
Yeah,
yeah,
you can still make it. It won't like totally spoil your dish or anything. You can still make it because you know what, Lisa said that Nate is allergic to shiitake, so she used another mushroom, and she still like it. She made the beef and broccoli, she made the cashew chicken, and they still enjoyed it. So I think it's fine. It's just that for my it's just for my very Chinese taste buds, I might go like, oh, it's not, super authentic, but do what you can. Yeah, make
do
it
what
with
you
what
can.
you have. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, and then yes, locally I can find these little packages, and I didn't look. I'll have to look next time I'm at the store. Like this one is just like a medley, like a mixture, but they do
Right.
sometimes carry these with
Yeah.
the separated ones. So I'm going to look next
Right.
time. But thank you for clarifying that.
I think if you really want to get the shiitake mushrooms, the Asian markets would be the best way because they would have it. Definitely.
Definitely. Okay, yes. And we have a few of them, some very large ones that we were recently at, and boy, did they have a lot of fun stuff to.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Which which ones were you at? Which ones
do
do
you
you
remember
remember the
that?
name?
So we have a whole Asian district, and
Oh,
in there is an H Mart and Mekong Plaza.
Yeah, Mekong Plaza is very big, and
oh,
yeah,
nice.
it's a whole district. Yeah, we were there just a few days ago, maybe last week, and we were just
Oh,
going to all the different stores.
yeah.
Have you ever heard of H Mart? That's
Oh
not what.
yes.
Oh,
So I went when were in US last year. My partner and I were in US last year, and we visited Kathy Hester, and Kathy took us to H Mart, and yeah, and we were there until like closing time. I was like, oh my god, they have this and this and this and this, because I was doing a demo at Chapel Hill the next day, so we needed to get some ingredients. So yeah, and then I also went to the H Mart at in New York City because I wanted to get my natto and some of my other things as well. So yes, I have been to H Mart. And then when we visited Lisa and Nate, we went to I think it was called International. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So I guess the one that we just have here is the other one, the Mekong.
Yeah, I think that one's private.
Oh,
H
so
Mart
that's
is
just,
all over the country.
and that other one is local
Mm,
to us, and they're a little bit different actually. But okay, very cool. So you've been to H Mart, uh,
yes.
and that's fun. And so yeah, so now you know what kind. When I go, that's what I'm looking at as well. And if you are not familiar with that, you should check out in your area if you're watching and see, because the Asian markets, they have a lot of different things that don't always, aren't available sometimes in like a regular uh, grocery store or a small market. And you could just like Chef Yin said, you could just stay there all day till close.
Yeah, and I think Kathy says that the spices, the Indian spices, are way cheaper in the Asian markets than out
Than in the U.
than yeah.
Than in the standard. You know what? I remember watching you
Just like
guys when you were visiting them. That was fun. And okay, I'm going to remember that, and I'll have to check into that. I know sometimes we get a lot of spices also there's like a special Indian market, and we've gotten things when we're doing that kind of food. But I'm going
yeah,
to
because
check.
we're getting like cumin and coriander and garam masala and all that. It's yeah, it's better to get it from the Asian markets.
Yeah,
But they might not necessarily be organic though. That's the only thing. It depends on whether you're going organic or not. But if you're not, yeah, if you're fine with conventional, then yeah.
yeah. Well, I got to ask you, I'm so curious. I mean, now you shared that you're a descendant of the Chinese background, but what inspired you to create the raw Chinese takeout this time? Was there anything that happened or that was inspired?
Oh, okay. So, in my other life, in my previous life, before I was a chef, I actually worked in corporate, and it was almost like corporate America because I worked in 3 American companies that were based here in Malaysia. I mean, like the American branches, American outlets. So I worked in Veritas Software, and then I worked for Symantec Corporation, and I worked for Oracle Corporation. So they were all multinationals, and I was doing public relations for them. So I worked with them for 10 years. And that would mean that I would need to travel to the US for work. And when I traveled to the US for work, I always found that the food was very bland. And yeah, and because we Chinese, we like our rice. So I really enjoyed like just going to like Panda Express or like PF Chang's or like or just like the hole in the wall Chinese takeout places, because I would extend when if I go, I would extend my trip, because I remember like staying in the international hostels in San Francisco, and then there's like some, it's like half a unit of a shop front, and then they cook Chinese food, and you walk in, and when you walk out, your whole body smells of Chinese
Oh,
takeout, because you know what I mean. Yeah, so I used to go and eat my food there because it was really cheap. It was like it was like $8 or something, like for a meal, right? And all that. And but it's so nice because it's like, oh, there's rice and there's soy sauce and there's all these sauces and and broccoli and all that. So I just really enjoyed it. So it was so I realized like, oh, I think because I actually have created like since the lockdown until now, I've already created like 27 online courses. So I was thinking like, oh, I think Chinese takeout might be interesting. And also I had a lot of requests actually. A lot of people DM me on Instagram and go like, oh, do you have, like egg drop wonton soup or something? I,
oh.
I, I didn't make that one, but yeah, like, oh, do you have anything Chinese? I do have a course on Chinese dim sum, but I
And
think
what
not
is
many people.
and what is that?
The dim sum is like
Like a soup or a bowl or a
no, it's kind of like, I guess some people look at it like a Chinese version of tapas, because they all come in small dishes. So in Chinese tradition, we usually go. It's like a family gathering. We usually go on Sunday mornings and have Sunday morning dim sum. It's very popular in Australia, but here also it's like on Sunday mornings the family goes out, and then we have like a brunch. But so it comes in little plates. So that's why it's a bit like tapas, like there'll be like dumplings, like three dumplings in one small plate, or like glutinous rice in another plate, or like some noodles, and then there's like egg tarts and the bao buns and all that. They're like, so
Oh.
you order it and then you eat family style. Yeah, so I have that course, but I didn't have like Chinese takeout. So I thought like, oh, let me make that, because I really enjoy eating Chinese takeout in the US.
Oh, that's so great. Okay, so now we know what inspired you. When I was in Japan, it was very similar. It reminds me what you're saying about having a lot of a lot of little dishes,
Yeah.
and family style, or even just individually. So I can picture what you're saying, and kind of like, well, we say brunch out here, but it's not in little cute dishes. It's just everything is massive. But
Yeah, it's
anyway,
American sized.
American size, yeah.
But you
So,
know what I really enjoyed about the Chinese takeout in America, because it was so big. Like I remember, because when I extended my stay, I would stay in the dorm, right? I would like buy lunch, and then I keep half in the fridge in like the dorm, like a YMCA or something, and then I'll have the other half for dinner, because the size was so huge. I could save money as well.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
that is so true, and that's very smart, actually, right? That you are able to know, okay, this is like two portions worth, so I can
Yeah.
have it for next time. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I just like
Um,
buy one meal and have it for for
Yeah, I
for lunch
know a lot
and
of
dinner.
people that do that, actually, and it saves for them, especially if like you're a single person and
Yeah.
then you don't have to cook
Yeah, because
unless
I was
you're raw
traveling.
or chop.
Yeah, I was traveling solo then, so yeah. I mean, you can't do that here in Malaysia. Our portions are like so small.
Yeah. So besides the fact that well, you said you had requests, but also the memories of it, I was wondering, is there anything else that was like really important for you to like reimagine the classic Chinese dishes and make it into a raw vegan way? Anything extra that was important? I was just curious.
I think what was interesting was I actually did a lot of research as well, because I know that some people, and even my boyfriend would say like, oh, this is food that like Chinese people serve American people, but which is kind of true. because if you go as a Chinese and you ask for the off, there will be a lot of off menu things, because he lived in the US for six
The
and a half
secret.
years, right? And
Yeah.
he would also go and have Chinese food, and they would, because they see him so regularly, they'll be like, oh, would you want to have this dish or that dish? They will offer him everything that's off menu, because that's
Those are all the secrets, right?
yeah, yeah. And I thought that was quite fascinating as well. So I did a lot of research to understand like the origins of Chinese takeout, and just the history of the migration from the Chinese to America, to work in the gold mines and all that. And I thought that was really fascinating. Some parts were a bit sad. I Yeah, it made me really sad and a bit angry as well, because there were things like the Exclusion Act, where they wouldn't allow Chinese, they stopped the Chinese from coming in, and you could only come in as like, if you're doing like laundry and and that's why the Chinese, but in that way, that's why the Chinese restaurants actually grew, because the food business was something that they allowed the Chinese to come in as well. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
thought that, and then I was just thinking like, wow, like people during that time was so resilient, and they were so persistent, and they were coming in, through boats, and they were working like really long hours, they were like underpaid, and then they were saving up, and then because I know like some they were running the restaurants, and then they save up enough, and then to go back to China and then spend their fortune there and things like that, and they like really lived well in China after doing the Chinese restaurant business in the US. So I thought that was really fascinating. Then the dish, the General Tso's dish, right? General Tso's chicken. I actually found that there was a documentary made on it as well called In Search of General Tso, and trying to figure out who is this General Tso person. Is he a real person? Who was the origins of that recipe? And they interviewed the chef that created that recipe and all that. So that was just like, it was super fascinating. Yeah.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Anything else that you want to share about that? Anything that pops up about your research, I think is fascinating. And I would love to hear more. Although we do have a question here. Bernadette says, I recently bought a bottle of Chinese 5-spice because I love all the flavors. Chef, how would you use this spice?
Yeah, so this Chinese 5-spice, that in the if you got the bundle and you got the if you got the bundle in the Chinese takeout course, there is actually, I do actually use it in some of my recipes as well, in some of the sauces. Yeah. But if not, you can, yeah, it's usually used in like, I'm trying to remember. Did I use it in the kung po chicken? But I use it in some of it as well. But it's usually used in the sauces. Yeah, if you want to make like a very like Asian style dressing, then you can use it in you can use it as well. But it's usually used yeah, it's called hyong fan. I'm trying to remember. Not so much in soups, I think more with like meat dishes, but you can use it with your mushrooms and your yeah, your cauliflower and all that. But yeah, Bernadette, did you get a bundle? If you did, like, just go check out the course booklet, and then yeah, look for the 5-spice Chinese 5-spice. It's there.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to know. When I get the bundle, or when I'm involved in the bundle, I never know. You never know what people are going to put in there and contribute. And when I very first would order those before I was a part of it, I just thought it was recipes, and it is recipes, but it's so much more than that. Like, just hearing
Yeah.
about your research in the history and making suggestions and stories and all kinds of fun stuff, doctors and everything. I'm just thinking about it while you're talking, and I just want to let people know, if it's something that you're not sure, you don't know what's in it, or you think, well, you already had one from last year. This one also, all brand new, never
Yeah.
been put out. So if you enjoyed that one, you might want to try this one too.
Yeah, I really like the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. It's very special because, like you said, everything is brand new. Everything is raw vegan and everything is oil free. Yeah, so
That's right.
there's I don't think there's any other bundle that is exactly the same like that, because the other bundles don't. It just needs to be new to the bundle, but it's not like an absolutely brand new thing. This is a brand new release that you have never ever seen anywhere before. You can't get anywhere before. Yeah. And I thought the world favorites cultural collaboration ebook, where a lot, where you, Jennifer, have contributed, and a lot of us have contributed recipes. Yeah. I thought that was really interesting as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to make Chef AJ's granola actually.
Oh yeah, she's got stuff in there, and there's a Make It Raw version 4
Yes.
with Lissa and Chef AJ, and I know recently talked about it. She has like a black licorice recipe in there, and
Oh yeah.
it's something that I'm interested in too. There's just so much stuff in there, and yeah, it's like you said, it's all brand new, and the collaboration, it is really cool because it's all about heritage. So there's one book where as many people, or as many that you want to contribute, the contributors can put different recipes, and it talks about the history. And if they weren't originally raw, then they've been like made into a raw, beautiful dish. And it is a beautiful book. And that's just like an additional thing. So it's very fun.
Maybe you want to talk about your recipe as well. I'm quite curious about, like, yeah, the
Yeah.
background and origins of it.
Yeah, so I made a dish that it's spelt nothing like it's pronounced. It's pronounced Simus, and it starts
Seamless.
with, yeah, it's like Tzimmes, I think it is. But you pronounce it, the T is silent, Simus. And
Mm.
I wanted to do a dish, like we have so many Catholic, Christian, Jewish that are most common in our area. And so I decided it would be really fun to do a Jewish heritage dish that celebrates something happy. And so this dish is traditionally used and like the New Year. So the Jewish people celebrate a different New Year than like, the American calendar, New Year. And so that's usually, it's called Rosh Hashanah. And so you serve certain dishes there, and it's normally a cooked like a stew. And it typically has root vegetables and meats in it. And I thought, well, why not try to make something that's raw, that's simple, that's beautiful in color, that can represent it, and it still has the same flavors and spices, which can be adjusted depending on your flavor profile that you like. And so that's what I did, and it's all spiralized and very colorful. And so, that was what I contributed this time.
Nice, nice. I'm glad you told me how to pronounce it, because I remember when I looked at it, I was like, I don't know how to pronounce this.
Yeah, it's nothing like it's written at all. And that's okay. When I was with Chris Kendall, he was asking me the same thing, and he goes, I would never have said that in a million years,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And so, yeah, no, that's okay. I'm glad you asked. And Todd just put it in there. Simus
Seamless.
is the correct way to pronounce it, even though there's a T in front of it. So anyways.
Right, the T is silent. Okay.
Yeah. So I got to ask you, what was the very first Chinese dish that you like raw-fied that you felt was successful, whether it was in the book or just, out of the book? I'm wondering.
Ooh, if it's out of the book, I can't even remember, because I mean, I've been doing that like for many years, right? Since 2015, 2016. So I can't remember what's the first one. In the book, I think I was working on the general sauce, and then I didn't, I wasn't happy with what I got. So then I decided to move on to the beef and broccoli, and that turned out really nice. Yeah, and I really like yeah, it's interesting. I really like beef and broccoli, but I don't when I was even when I wasn't vegan, I didn't really like to eat beef. So I like the broccoli part more than the beef, but I like the sauce. So,
Oh,
'cause-
yeah, it's a
yeah.
nice umami type of traditional flavor. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I would guess that with all the research that you did, that was the original dish. That was probably something you were thinking about a lot, to do all of that research and find the history of it, that general recipe.
Yeah, and also like I mean, even beef and broccoli, like in China, they don't actually cook with broccoli because it's not really available in China. We will cook it with kailan. I don't know whether you're familiar with kailan. It's either Gailan. It's kind of like Chinese. They call it Chinese broccoli sometimes as well. So, but
Is
because
it like a longer, thinner type, like more of like a baby broccoli? I think I feel like I've seen that before in a store, where it's like a thinner stem and
I
it's
think that's broccolini, most probably.
broccolini, but it's not like that. That's not what you're talking
No,
about.
it's leafy. The kailan is leafy, but
Oh,
they call it Chinese broccoli. It doesn't look like broccoli at all whatsoever.
I'm gonna have to check
What
that out next
why
time
is
I
it
go.
interesting? So I think back in China we actually cook it with kailan. Say Apple all day knows what kailan is. She says I like kailan a lot. Kailan also knows as Chinese broccoli or Chinese kale. Yeah, it's also known as Chinese kale. So, and it's also part of the cruciferous family as well. So if you want to get your cruciferous in, you can do that. Yeah, but because the cooks had to adapt it, based on what's available in the US, so they switched to broccoli instead. And I really like eating broccoli, so that was one of the dishes that I really enjoyed, because broccoli and kale, it's slightly more expensive than the other leafy greens. So we don't eat it so much. We do eat it, but
Oh,
not so much. But
interesting. And Apple a Day
yeah,
says it looks like thick spinach.
yeah, yeah, it does.
Wow. Well, I'm not familiar, so I've got a lot of stuff to work on. I want to get, taste it, smell it, touch it, and do all that kind of stuff. So thank you so much for enlightening me. Um, that's so wonderful. So, let's see. What do you hope that people will take away from your recipes? Besides just having the flavors and learning how to do it, is there anything that you really want people to take away?
I think just to have fun and to realize that raw vegan food isn't boring. I know that nowadays I just eat like smoothies, salads, and fruit. But I think when I first started, I was not a salad person at all. I was a huge smoothie person, and I love fruit, but I was never a salad person, which is why I was always trying to develop, like non-salad recipes so that I could actually enjoy it. But now I've grown to really love my salads. But yeah, because I think the general conception, people don't like salads. So I wanted people to know that raw vegan food can be like taste really good. I mean, like these are my fortune cookies, and this is something that
Yes, those are
I've
in
been
there.
I've been wanting to make like forever and ever. I've been talking about it for years already. I was thinking, I really need to come up with a raw vegan fortune cookie because um I wouldn't eat the fortune cookies in the US because it's like it's white flour and there's sugar, and I don't know, even if it's vegan, I mean, I'm guessing they would put eggs in it. But so I remember when we went to Panda Express in the US last year. So they obviously give you fortune cookies. We just broke it up to look at the fortunes. Let's do that. We broke it up and did
Yay! You
and
put,
we got the fortunes. Yeah,
that's
I got them.
awesome.
But we didn't eat them, and my boyfriend's like, I want to eat them. So I was like, now he can eat as many as he wants. So oh, I made some Valentine fortunes actually. So this says, you made my heart sing. Yeah.
Oh, I love
Ah,
that. I love
I
that.
think I think the food does make my heart sing actually. So
Well, that recipe is in the bundle and it is in
yes.
your book, and it's
Yeah.
something that I want to do. And you know what? I think that whether you're making it yourself to share and put surprise notes in there, or you could actually do this as like a date night thing or a family event, and
Yeah.
everybody can, write fortunes. Sounds
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah. I think yeah, and you have kids and all that. I think just get them to just fold it and all that. They'll be quite fun to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm
It's
so glad that you showed that. And just going back for a second, Apple a Day says that to get the green gailan at the Asian markets, that there's
yeah.
lots of greens and shrooms there. So yes, I definitely will. Thank you. But I don't want to guess, so I'm just going to ask you, which dish was your most fun or most challenging that you recreated for the book here?
Yeah, I think it was the General Tso's one because I
Most
thought that
challenging.
like that's kind of like an iconic thing, and like I said, I was working on it for a really long time. Yeah, I actually was working on a dumpling recipe as well, but I actually have a dumpling recipe in my dim sum course, but that one is not oil free, so I was working on that, but I didn't have enough time to finish it. So I was telling Chris, I said, oh, I need to start earlier next year. I said I vow not to procrastinate. Actually, I did not procrastinate. I started working on it last year, but then different things come up,
Right.
and then we had a surprise trip to Singapore, and then after that, and then I felt sick, and then I think I hurt my heel, and all sorts of things just came up.
Oh
You
my
see, so
goodness.
I think I need to buffer more time to do it rather than yeah. So
Oh
yeah.
my goodness. Well, you know what? I agree that with good and best intentions to finish projects that we start, and then things come up, and so we do our best. And so I'm glad that you got what you did get in there, because I'm enjoying it, and I know others will too. So let me ask you, when you talk about the umami flavors, how do you know like how to capture those flavors when you're using it in a raw form? You know, a lot of times I feel like it's easier to come out when it's cooked, but now we're doing raw. How do you know how to do? Is there a secret you want to share?
I don't really think about it that way. I'm just like trying to think like, oh, I want to get it to that flavor that I remember um when I wasn't vegan, because I remember like even making like the hot and sour soup, and we have that um I think that's served a lot in Chinese weddings. And then I let my boyfriend try. He went like, "Oh my god, this is legit." I said, "I know, right?" I said like, "Wow." Yeah, I worked on that. Like I think I had to like at least 3 different tries before I was happy with it. And then I let him try the final one, and he was like really happy with it. But like I said, I think I used um I think when it comes to Chinese dishes, and I think Chinese takeout, a lot of it is based on Cantonese cuisine. Although the hot and sour soup is actually Sichuan. Um, oh, that's the other thing I'm a bit like. It's funny because Americans pronounce it as Sichuan,
Oh,
and
yes.
and and I think it's actually. Well, it depends if you're pronouncing it in Cantonese or you're pronouncing it in Mandarin. I don't know the Mandarin pronunciation, but over here we pronounce it as Sichuan. And it was quite funny because my Taiwanese friend was telling me that she was dating this guy, this white guy, when she was in the US. And then he went like, "Oh, do you want to have Sichuan?" And then she was like, "What's a Sichuan?"
I can picture that.
It
That's
was so funny. She's like, "What's a Sichuan?" And I think he was trying to impress her, right? That like I know about Asian food, you know.
right, right. And she's like, "What is that? A type of dress or something?" That's hilarious. That is really, really
Yeah,
cute.
yeah, yeah.
So
So going back to it, I think a lot of the um I think because you have like your key sauces, so you have like your in Chinese cooking, you have your oyster sauce, you have your sesame oil, you have your doubanjiang, you have um chili oil, yeah, and then you have soy sauce. So all those things actually give it that umami. And then so yeah, so having to do it in this raw thing, it's a bit harder, but I still use soy sauce because I feel like that's like superior. Although some people are allergic to soy, then I think there are other you could use coconut aminos as well, or if you want to use like and then some people have gluten issues as well, so you can use like a gluten-free soy sauce and all that. That kind of changes the taste a bit. But if you have food restrictions, then I totally understand that. That's why I made the mushroom sauce, because that is supposed to give a lot of umami as well, that mushroom sauce.
I can't wait to
um,
make that mushroom sauce. I so wanted to do that today, like
yeah,
before we came on, but
yeah, yeah. So yeah, and then I think for anything that required sesame oil, I use tahini instead. So you still have a bit of the nutty sesame flavor, although although I do feel like it's like it's nothing can compare to like that burst of flavor that actual Chinese sesame oil gives, toasted sesame oil. But we don't want to use oil, so
yeah,
I
and
think
another
that's the
and
thing.
another one that you mentioned is the oyster sauce. Now, I remember
Yeah,
years ago uh, cooking with oyster sauce, and so how do you get around that? Because isn't that coming from the fish and the
I mean, it comes from
oysters?
the oysters.
The oysters, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of times it's just a bit of oyster extract. A lot of times in the nowadays is actually just like chemicals and flavorings as well. Yeah, that's why I needed the shiitake mushrooms, the dried shiitake mushrooms, and maybe a bit of nutritional yeast as well, so that will give that boost.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad that you inspire us and teach us. If somebody is watching this and they're new to being raw, or they're just curious about raw, is there any dish that in your book that you could say is like a basic one to start with? That
Mm,
might be something that somebody would like to try at first.
let me check and see. Yeah, because I know
Or is
Kiko
it like,
was
yeah.
Kiko was saying that Kiko was saying that some of my ingredients were like some of my recipes were quite easy. So I'm trying to see like is there anything that um actually, the hot and sour soup is just basically blending up the soup base and then chopping the soup filling actually. Yeah, so that wouldn't be too difficult. Um because the beef and broccoli needs some advanced prep. The egg fouillon will need a dehydrator, so I wouldn't maybe not for a first timer. I could make the egg fried rice without the eggs, then that's quite straightforward. Oh, the noodle dish is also quite straightforward actually. Yeah. But the beef and broccoli is quite no no no. I was saying the hot and sour soup. But even the you were about to make the cashew chickens, right? But that needs a bit of
Yeah, is that one a good starter
yeah,
one? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, even the oh, I like the clay pot mushrooms. Yeah.
Everybody's getting hungry.
I added in the clay pot mushrooms because that's something that I always order when I mean in Malaysia as well. We have that a lot and I always order that as well. But yeah, the cashew chickens and I think the hot and sour soup's pretty good. But the fortune cookies are really fun. I think the fortune cookies are really fun to make people. I think a lot of people want to make the fortune cookies actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I
They're
so
like
want to make those. Oh my gosh, aren't those cute,
yeah.
everybody? You guys,
Yeah.
this is great. And just having the fortune in it. I used to do the same thing when we used to go to a Chinese restaurant. We would just break it open and reach the fortune and leave the cookies there because they weren't made, so
Yeah.
healthy. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
this will be fun. So, with your fortune cookie recipe, is it something that, because I didn't really look at the whole thing, is it something that you are able to make that dough and then you cut it and fold it up? Or is there you need a special kind of cookie cutter type thing?
I used a round cookie cutter.
A
Um,
round one? Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that.
so you need to make circles. So when Lisa made it, she actually had the templates, um, especially for dehydrating and all that. So that was perfect for her. That's why she could make the circles perfect. Whereas mine, I had to use a cookie cutter. But if you don't have a cookie cutter, you could actually like dehydrate, like spread it out as a sheet and dehydrate it and then like cut it into circles after that, after you dehydrate it. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's something you could do as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I did that as well. I mean, like because my cookie cutter also didn't cut through very well, so eventually I did need to use like a kitchen scissors to cut it in so that it looked really nice cut and clean. Yeah.
Okay. And because you're not cooking anything, right? It's all raw. Then when you put is there anything that we should be concerned about with, like, I don't know, the ink or the paper or anything that you're putting in there? Or is it okay because it's not heating and anything like that?
I think you just need to make sure that the surface is dry enough before you put in the paper so it doesn't actually
Oh.
stick to it. Yeah, so that was the thing I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, do I really want to put a piece of paper with ink in it, or do I want to write a pen and put it? I think you can fold it. I think that's what Lisa did, right? She wrote on it and then she folded it. So you still
Oh,
then you're putting it in and then but I didn't fold mine, but she folded hers. So then you don't get the ink onto the cookie.
yeah. So that's a
Although I mean,
good tips.
if you really think about it, the paper is white and it's going to be bleached anyway.
We just try our best, right?
Yeah. You start thinking about everything, it's like, I can't live.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Because
So
I mean, if you're already doing so well and you're doing like, I mean, you're already going to be eating your green. I mean, I'm eating my green smoothie bowls in the morning. I'm eating my huge giant salad for lunch. I'm already having my fruit for dinner. So like, to stress about a fortune cookie which has a bleach paper inside, maybe not.
maybe not. Maybe just enjoy it, right? Just enjoy it. Just wondering.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you, I know that you post a lot about different things that you make, and you and your boyfriend share and, discuss about it. But, when you are making the food, like what is a typical day of food for you? I mean, you mentioned, is it really just the smoothie and the salad? Or like what is a favorite typical day for your food choices?
So for my breakfast, I don't like to think about breakfast. I keep it the same almost every single day, but I rotate my greens. So I make a green smooth. Okay, it depends. If I'm at home and I'm not going out, then I will make a green smoothie bowl. So I basically have 150 grams. I don't know what's that in ounces. It's basically a third of a pound of. Okay, eat. I aim to eat 1 pound of greens a day, right?
Okay.
So I can't remember which doctor said that, but I know one of the
Yeah.
doctors said that. So and
Don't
and
forget.
also sorry, yeah.
Oh
So one
no,
pound,
just yeah, to eat your greens. That's very important. I agree
yeah,
with that.
yeah. And I think Chef AJ also says that eat 1 pound of greens a day. And I started doing that, and I felt so good. So good, thought yeah. I thought it's such a great like behind the scenes person. 150 grams with 5.3 ounces. So yeah. So I aim to eat 1 pound of greens a day. So what I do is in the morning I have my green smoothie bowl. So I have my leafy greens, and that's when I rotate my greens. So it's not the same greens every day. It's just like whatever leafy greens I can get from the farmer. I meet up with my private farmer who sells me my bananas. Remember, I tell you I meet him once a week on Fridays. So whatever leafy greens he sells me that week, so I'll put that into my. So I'll have the greens blended up with 5 bananas, 1 cup of water, uh, flax meal, ground flax seeds, and then some kind of superfood because I work with organic superfoods. So, whichever one that I feel like putting in. Sometimes it's moringa, sometimes it's chlorella, sometimes it's chaga mushroom powder, sometimes it's acai berry powder. So that's my breakfast because I don't. Oh no, and now I've started adding one cara orange as well. So I really like that. I really like how it all turns out. So I just have that for breakfast, and I have that like 4 times a week for breakfast. I don't
Oh,
want to think about it. The other 3 times a week, we usually go to the park. So when I go to the park, I just pack. I don't blend up a smoothie because I feel like it'll oxidize everything. So I just pack bananas and lettuce and some chia seed gel kind of thing to just get my omega 3s. So that's my breakfast. For my lunch, I will just make a giant salad because it's just easy to like so that's the rest of my greens, right? That's like my about 300 grams of greens kind of thing because 1 pound is I think 454 grams. So I'm getting about 450 grams of greens. It's just easier to count that way. So I have my salad will just be some kind of lettuce, and then I also have my salad toppings. So usually I put like cherry tomatoes. I ferment, so I put some kimchi.
wow.
I have a Brazil nut a day for the selenium. I have my mung bean sprouts because I want to have some living foods. I have some wakame because it's gives me my minerals. As you can see, it's very nutrition driven actually. Yeah. So and but then I enjoy it as well because my dressings I will make different dressings. And because you were in the bundle, the vegan health bundle, and I think Tales from the Tailgate was in the bundle, right?
Yes.
That ebook. Yeah. So right now I've just been like trying out the dressings from there. So I told Lisa, I said, I think I must have made like 20 dressings from there or something already or something like that. So I just made
Oh,
one of the dressings. And what now I do is I double the portion. So I don't have to be making dressings every single day. I just, like if I make if I blend up a dressing today, I do double. Then tomorrow I can use the same dressing for my salad. I don't have to do it. So that's my lunch. So the dressing is usually like 1 cup of water and then like 4 to 5 medjool dates, and then there's going to be spices, and then there's like some acid thing, whether it's lemon juice or vinegar. I like my dressing sweet, so I love the fact that Lisa has like 4 to 5 dates in the dressing, and so it's poured all over. Oh, and then it has some fatty elements, so it's usually like fats. I mean, like healthy fats. So it usually has some kind of like, whether it's almonds or cashews or some kind of nuts, maybe macadamia or something like that. So, but I keep my nuts to 3 tablespoons a day. That's it. I don't eat more than that, because I feel like if I eat too high fat, my body doesn't respond very well to it. So yeah, so that's my lunch. And then for my dinner, I have fruit, because by the time it comes to dinner, I don't want to make a giant salad anymore. Most raw foodies would say like you should have your savory stuff at the end of the day, but I'm like, no, by the end of the day, I have no energy to sit there and chop up like 300 grams of greens. No, I just have my salad. I have my fruit, and I'm really happy because I really like my fruit. I'm like, I make a fruit salad, so just whatever I can get, the local fruit. I have a neighborhood fruit store nearby, like it's like a 10-minute walk, so we go there and just get like papayas, mangoes. Right now we have a lot of mangoes, yeah. And then when it's like rambutan season or mangosteen season, that's great. Or longans. We get snake fruit as well. I was just telling Chris Kendall about it. He knows what snake fruit is and all that. So just like I love cempedak, I love durian. So I always say that Malaysia is such a great place to be raw vegan, because we have so much tropical fruit. Yeah, I really, really love it. And we have so much sun, so much rain. So we have like fresh fruits and vegetables all year round, Yeah.
Do you ever eat durian?
I love durian.
Oh
Yeah.
my
But
God.
you have to eat it in Malaysia. Don't like anywhere else is like, ugh. Not Malaysia. I mean
yeah.
Malaysia, Thailand, maybe in Southeast Asia. Yeah.
Okay, because I never had it before. And then, like, I don't know, last year I was at a raw potluck, and somebody brought it in. And
Yeah.
so, first of all, it smelled really bad. And then I learned that's not a good sign. That if it's fresh, isn't it supposed to be like eaten right away? Or
yeah. So it will, the thing is, it will smell bad.
Oh, it does?
It does. When I have durian in my fridge, sometimes my boyfriend will be like, "What's the smell?" I'm like, "It's durian." And he's like, "Oh, he loves durian as well." But it does smell bad. Some have an acquired taste. I think the thing is there's many kinds of durian. And the best way to eat durian is to wait for the durian to drop and eat it on the same day itself. That's the best way. I mean, that's basically how fruits are supposed to be eaten in nature, right? You're supposed to be ripe on the tree, ripen, and then you eat it, right? That's the best way. But I know of one way that you can taste really good frozen durian.
Tell me.
My friend durian writer Lindsay, she's actually from Portland, but she runs a durian business that they ship internationally. They don't, I think they ship to US and they ship to Europe. I don't think they ship to Mexico. I'm not sure, but the last time I checked, they didn't, because I think one of my friends in Mexico wanted to buy from her. They don't. So, and I do have a discount code somewhere, but I need to look for it.
Yeah. If you are able to give it, we can, after the fact, we can put it down there. I would be interested too.
Yeah.
I want to try some.
So they're called I think they're called the Year of the Durian, and I do have a discount code somewhere. So let me share that with you later. And she spends her time sourcing for really good durians in Malaysia, in Thailand. I'm not sure where else, but I know in Malaysia and Thailand, because when I first met her, it was actually here in Malaysia. Yeah, and when we were in US, she actually got a box of frozen Malaysian durians shipped over to us, because what they do is they pack it in Malaysia, they ship it over to the US, and then the US they distribute it. So she got it sent. She was saying like, oh, I really wanted to send you a box of durians. Then I said like, oh, you know what? I'm staying with Lisa and Nate. Why don't you send it to us then? Then we can all have like a durian party and all that. So she shipped a big, huge box to us, and
How
and
fun.
and it wasn't just durian. It was also like there was also a dabai fruit. There was also like pink pitaya and all that. So yeah. So if you want to try durian, I think you should get it from her, because she is like the durian expert, the durian queen. She can look at a durian and she can already tell you like, what variety it is, and whether it's gonna, what it smells, what it tastes good. And she talks about all the tasting notes. In fact, she wrote a book on like durians, and it was a print book and it was an ebook, and she was actually in the very first raw vegan bundle. Yeah.
Oh.
And she also contributed one of her recipes to one of the ultimate raw vegan bundles as well, because at one time she was raw. She's no longer raw, she's still vegan. But I remember, because she told me she used to attend Woodstock and all that. For a couple of years she was raw. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, she would know. So if you want to try, you should try it there, because I wouldn't try it in like, I wouldn't like randomly go to some Asian market and pick up a durian, because you wouldn't know what to look for.
Right.
And it's so expensive. So like, don't like, I don't think you should waste your money on something so expensive, and then you have a bad experience, because I think people have bad experiences with durian. It's just because they were just not exposed to good ones. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't have any trees near us that are dropping
Yeah.
durian. So, I would love that. Just before we, finish with this, I want to ask you, like, besides just eating it, just plain, I mean, is there anything that's a common thing that you do with that fruit?
In Malaysia, we actually also cook it as kind of like a curry or a stew. There's a gulai as well. But it's so good on its own. I actually, you know what? I collaborated with Lindsay actually on making some durian recipes. I came up with a durian cookie recipe.
Cookie.
I
Wow.
think I made a durian nog drink. I also made a durian pie. Oh, that was really good. The pie was really good. And it's on my Instagram and her Instagram somewhere. I think I put the recipes in one of the bundles as like I think my Asian sweets and treats book course actually has the recipes in there as a bonus recipe as well. So so you can make it into cookies, or in fact nowadays, like durian cake is very, very popular in Malaysia as well.
Is that raw?
Yeah.
Is a durian cake raw or not raw?
No, it's not raw. I mean, the
Oh, it's
ones
not raw.
popular in Malaysia, it's
Yeah.
it's not raw. But
Okay.
my recipes, I think I have one ninko, which is kind of like a Chinese sticky. I don't know. It's like a dessert, like like a Chinese sticky.
Like a sticky dessert, like a sweet.
Yeah, a sticky dessert kind of thing. Yeah, a sweet treat kind of thing. And then
Oh,
so I've made cookies and I've made pies recipes with it as well, and drink recipes. Yeah. Can
wow.
make it into a smoothie as well, drink smoothies.
Yeah. I just learned so much from you. It's so fun.
Yeah, you know what? Chris Kendall actually has a durian and banana smoothie recipe in one of his meal plans as well. I made that as well and I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to hook up with you and figure out where to order some and try some of these recipes. They sound really great. Yeah, because when I tried it, and these, people that I was with, they were going on and on. This is so great. And I'm like, I never had this before, and it's really strong smell. And they said, no, try it. And then I tried it and I thought, I don't really like this. And why, so I thought, and then my friend said, that's probably not a real, good one. And so I didn't give up.
Yeah, because if you have really good ones, they have like tasting notes like butterscotch or like
Oh,
yeah, like caramel or um not wine, but like it's sweet, or some have like bittersweet. I really like the bittersweet ones, but basically it's very creamy. Yeah, creamy and sweet, but a lot of depth of flavor and very complex as well. Yeah.
wow. Okay.
So yeah, you I think you just didn't have a good one. Yeah, because Chef AJ was telling me she didn't like durians as well, and I was just like, I don't think you had a good one,
Yeah,
which is
I don't think
mm,
it's very easy to, and I'm just based on my own experience. I don't think it's very easy to find it out here, first of all, unless you go to a
yeah,
specialty store. And then
yeah,
now I'm learning if you have to wait till it drops, and then how long does it take to get to the store? Like you said, your friend does it frozen in
yeah.
a special way, whereas I don't know that the mainstream, like,
No, they don't.
does it.
So yeah, because they import it, right? A lot of it imported actually. But I mean, in Malaysia, that's how we do it. In Malaysia, we actually wait for it to drop. It's called like 3-drop durian, so that's the best. In Thailand, they don't do that. They actually cut it off first.
So
So then the flavors are not so intense. I feel the flavors are not so intense. That's why we feel like Malaysian durians are the best.
so when it drops, like, is it in the tree? And I don't know this, right? Is it in the tree very high? And is it like, what if it hits the ground? Like, it's not going to
Oh,
tip
so
it open?
yeah,
Or how does
I've
this
seen,
work?
I've seen it in the farms. They actually put like nets below, so it drops onto the net. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, right. Be smart about it.
yeah.
that
Yeah,
that's
I
neat.
stayed at yeah. My friend had this property, and yeah, they planted some durian trees. So we saw the durian flowers and trees, and then later he called us and he said like, oh, the durians are ready. Come by and collect them. So that was pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm very curious. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I don't know if you have time for one more question or,
Yeah, sure. Oh,
okay.
and also before I forget, I wanted to show you this because I made this yesterday. I don't know whether you can see this or not.
Ooh, what is that? That looks delicious.
It's like a raw vegan bread from it's a raw vegan tomato bread.
You're kidding.
This is so Lena in the bundle, she has this what she has her platform, her community platform, which is a website where you get access to video workouts, to recipes, and then she also does like educational sessions and all that. So you're getting like 1 year access to her platform. It's called Nourished. Yeah, and it's actually worth 111 US dollars. But now if you get the bundle, then you get that as well. So I thought like because my boyfriend likes eating bread, so I was like, I'll try making like the raw vegan bread. So
Oh
yeah, I
my.
did this on my YouTube channel, so you can check it out. Because I asked her whether I could try her recipe and share it with others. She said, yeah, I can. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's so cool. I'm gonna have to look for that. Nourish.
yeah. So I use sprouted buckwheat. She uses almond flour, but I didn't have almond flour. I just ground up some almonds, psyllium husk, sun-dried tomatoes, lemon juice, I think. Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah,
I
pretty
have all
cool.
that. I have all that. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, and it's really simple. You just kind of like process it and put it together. Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you
I mean,
have
if
to
you can,
dehydrate it? Does
yeah,
it? Oh,
dehydrate.
you dehydrate it. So you
Do
need
you
it.
have a Do you have a dehydrator?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do. I have a dehydrator, so I can do it, and
Oh,
I really enjoy the dehydrator actually. Yeah. So speaking of, that was where I was going to ask the last question about. You said you do uh, sprouted beans or lentils when you make your lunches, and
yeah.
so I've learned that it's is it true that you really need to use the special type of sprout for sprouting? You don't just go to the bulk bin and get the beans. Isn't there a component that you need to be careful of for the mold? And like, where do you get your sprouts to sprout, your beans to sprout? Like,
Okay.
you get a special kind?
So number one, I'm not afraid of mold. I think sorry. Americans are so scared of everything. They're like so scared of fermenting things. They're like, oh, just like oof. Like fermentation has been going on forever and ever. Like, like it's ancient wisdom. Like I don't know. So yeah, so number one, and then everybody's like, oh, there's more, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know. Like I've been sprouting forever and ever. I haven't had any mold, but I guess if people are worried about mold, I think you were talking to Chris about it, right? He was saying like, what can you soak it in? Was it hydrogen peroxide or salt water or vinegar? Oh, vinegar, right? She said do a vinegar soak or something like that.
Yes, I did.
So
I did talk to him about that. But I haven't done it. I'm just curious, like, since you do
I
it, you
I
just use whatever.
okay. Hold on. Let me bring you my sprouts. I'm like
Oh,
very
yes.
ghetto and very DIY. So let me just bring that over. Hold on.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Thank you. What a treat. And I just want to say hello to, whoops, I can't, hello to A Samad. Welcome everybody. Hi, Jill in the chat and everybody else here. Isn't this fun? And if you haven't gotten the raw vegan bundle, you gotta get it. You gotta give it a chance. It's so much great stuff in here. So, okay, here she comes.
Okay, so these are my sprouts that are ready for lunch today. I don't know whether you can
Oh,
hopefully.
those look really good. The tails are nice and long. What is that, a mung or what kind is
It
that?
Yeah, it's a mung. Yeah, it's so it's this one. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I see it. How long did it take for you to sprout that? Couple days maybe, or no?
Yeah, a couple of days. I'm trying to think. I usually what I do is like today morning, but this one was a bit longer because it took a bit more time. So I told you I'm very ghetto. I'm just like I just like use a normal jar and I just sprout daily so that I have it fresh. I know some people like sprout in big huge giant jars and put it in the fridge. I think maybe that's why they have mold issues because I
Oh.
just sprout it and then I'm going to eat it already. So and you see I don't even use a special sprouter or something like that. I just like this is from like my onions or something like that. I bought onions and I just I just use this and put it over and then I over
Put a
my
rubber
jar
band.
and then I just use two rubber bands to secure it and then I just have this container and I just put it here and that's it, and then this one is also in the midst of sprouting as well. So I'll have this tomorrow. This has
Which one is that? It looks like a,
It's the same one. It's the same
okay.
mung beans as well because I find like mung beans are the easiest to sprout. The lentils are sometimes they don't sprout very well. I think a very good resource to check out. Have you heard of Doug Evans?
Yes, I have his book over here. I do, and
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
great
yeah.
book.
He's
I I got it. Chef AJ told me about it, and I
yes,
got the book, and it was, gosh, it was a couple of years ago. I need to read it again now that I'm a
yeah,
little more experienced.
yeah,
Still
yeah.
learning though.
So his book is a really good resource on sprouting. I have another book actually like original like by Anne Wigmore, and that's like she's been around forever and ever. I should show you that as well because it looks so
Yeah.
hold on.
Okay. I know, apple a day, very ghetto. LOL, love it. You know what? I do too. I think it's great because I have like one of these little sprouting kits, the 2 jars. And now I know that I don't need to keep buying more. I can sprout anyway, just like Chef
Okay.
Yin showed us.
So I started sprouting because my late dad, when he was alive, he was sprouting, and then later I started sprouting as well. And I followed this book, and this was Anne Wigmore. She's like and this is a really old book. You can see right by the font.
Wow.
She I think she was hold on, is she from Hippocrates or what? This was wow. This was published in 1909. No, copy well, it says 1909, but it says copyright 1986. Oh no. 1909 is just the number, sorry.
Oh,
1986. 1986. Let me see if she's
yeah.
like one of the original live raw food people, living food lifestyle. Um, yeah, I don't know whether she talks about mold or not. I don't know. I'm just like, yeah. So I just rinse it in filtered water. I don't use tap water. So I soak it in filtered water and then I just rinse it in filtered water and then I let it yeah. But I think Doug gave a because somebody also asked about. So she talks about the jar method. So this is the jar
Oh,
method, and using sprout bags as well, and different sprouters and all that. But I never, I didn't bother. But yeah, I thought it was a good book. But Doug's book is better, not better, but it's more. I guess it's more modern. But his
yeah.
is a really good book as well. And I just spoke to him the other day because PBNSG had a thing. He's really sweet. He was like, "Oh, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great." And he actually asked. He told me that he's writing a book, and he asked me to contribute one of my recipes to his book as well. I was like, "Wow!" So I need to
Wow,
do
that's
that.
awesome.
But yes, I don't think hold on. Let me look at the. I don't think she talks about mold. It's not in the. It's not in the index, and I don't. By skimming through, I don't see it. So I think at that time people were not afraid of it as well. But anyway, if you are afraid, I think the vinegar thing helps. But so I don't. So I just basically I do 1 tablespoon of this. So because I daily, right? I mean, this is how much I eat in a day, kind of
And,
thing.
and
So
when you,
one tablespoon will become like this. Yeah. So it's 1 tablespoon of this and it becomes like this. And then you asked about whether we should get seeds that are specifically made for sprouting. I think if you can, that is a good idea because I had some but actually in Malaysia, there's only one company that actually makes seeds that is written there, ready to sprout and all that.
oh,
Everywhere else there isn't, and that company only started doing it recently. So all these years that I've been sprouting, I've just used I've used organic seeds. I didn't get it from the bulk bin though, because I heard that yeah, if it's in the bulk bin, it might have been there for 5 years or something. So it
yeah.
might it
Oh,
might be harder
interesting.
because I have experienced getting some bad batches that um take forever to sprout, or but that's only happened like maybe 5 times out of all these 8. I don't know. I can't remember how long I've been sprouting, at least 10 years, or because even before I became raw vegan, I was already sprouting just to have some living food. So yeah, that's
Yeah. Okay.
my take on it.
Yeah, and not going to Treehab says, I have that book.
Yeah, it's such a cool book. I really like this book.
So thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And with the sprouting, I mean, and someone who's raw, maybe new to raw, how important do you think it is to bring in sprouted beans and lentils? That'll be my last question.
Um, mm, I think yeah, because people always go like, where do you get your protein, right? I'm like, yeah, there's lots of protein here. I think like I said, when I first started doing it, I was just like, because it's living food, I just want to get some living food in my system. I'm thinking more of nutrients, not so much of taste. To be honest, I don't really like the taste of this. My boyfriend hates the taste of it.
Oh, you're kidding.
He just like it's just in his rice and he mixes it up and he tries to like put more. So I do think the taste of this isn't that great, but you can hide it. You can process it with so you can use this and turn it into raw vegan burgers, or raw or you can sprout chickpeas and make raw vegan falafels and all that, and then it'll taste better. But I um now I feel more appreciative of the sprouted lentils and mung beans and all that, because I realized that I can make a lot of food, not a lot of food, but I can make some interesting dishes, um and I can make it low fat, because my background is more, yeah, when I trained as for my as a raw vegan chef, right? They teach you they it's always like, if you want to make like a meat substitute, so if you want to make a falafel or you want to make a burger, or you want to make tacos, it's always walnuts, or some kind of seeds, and that's very high fat. So I realized that if you can still use some, if you want to do a no nut option, then you can use, things like the sprouted beans and lentils. Or if you want to cut down on it, it doesn't have to be no nuts, then you can mix your nuts and a bit of this as well, then that gives it a really nice balance. I really like it because like I said, I think I know some people who don't like. I met one guy, um, and he said, oh, he was raw vegan for I don't know a month or a short while, but he said like, oh, there was just like way too many nuts and seeds, you know. And at that time, I didn't know that we could use things like all this, you see, because I was still on the high raw, the raw gourmet stuff. And then I remember when I did my pop-up dinners as well. I used to do pop-up dinners previously. I used to collaborate with a French chef, and we would come out with pop-up dinners. And so we do like a 5 course sit down fancy
Ooh.
schmancy dinner. And at that time we both used a lot of nuts as well, you know, because that was, this was like what, 2018, 2019. That was the time when I wasn't so exposed to using things like the yeah, all these lentils and all. So that's why I like it. I'm But not everybody eats sprouts. I mean, like, no, I'm just trying to think. I know like Lisa and Nate and Chris will always talk about, like, how great it is, and it is very great. I'm just trying to think, like, I don't know whether it's something that you have to have, like, yeah, I don't know whether you will become deficient from nutrients if you don't have sprouts. Maybe you can read the sprout book and know about it. But I know that Doug is like, oh my God, you can make an entire meal out of sprouts. He's like super passionate. Um, I do think like it adds extra crunch, and it adds yeah, so it adds a lot of texture to your food, and it also gives you a chance, because I don't grow my own food, so this is the only food that I can actually grow, and you can grow this on your counter, your kitchen counter.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So yeah, that's the thing.
Okay, that's great. And, I know that when I was eating, or when I first tried doing sprouted lentils or beans, I noticed right away that I had an easier time digesting them than when I had the cooked, more cooked
Yeah.
beans. And
Yes.
so I thought, wow, that felt so much better for me.
Yes.
So I guess that's common. I just felt that, and I thought, okay, I want to get a kit and I want to do this whole thing. And I started doing it, and I really do enjoy it. And you're right. It is, well, I think it's individualized. I like to know, experienced people like yourself, a chef, and somebody who's been in the raw food place for a long time, what your opinion is or what your experience is when I ask, some of these questions. But of course, I go by my blood test or how I'm feeling. And there was a time when I was told by my doctor, you need to up your beans or your lentils and legumes because some of my levels were too low. And so I just added like a half a cup a day, and then bam, I was fine again. So that's something, but I just didn't know if it was like a common thing that you should try to incorporate. Just like you want to incorporate the pound of greens, and you want to
Right.
get a lot of fruits and all of those kinds of things. So anyways, yeah, I really appreciate your time, and I found this to be really fun. Is there anything that you wanted to ask me, or anything that you wanted to share that we haven't covered?
um I think, like, if anybody wants to get the bundle, go check it out now, and I think get it before. Don't wait until the last day, because I remember I had someone who was, she waited until the last day, and then her credit card wouldn't get accepted, and then she couldn't get it. So I think,
Oh
like,
no.
yeah, and I was like, I can't help you. I was trying to ask Chris, because Chris is help desk, right? I'm like, Chris, what can we do? And then Chris is like, is she using the Chrome browser? Change another browser. Then I was like, can you ask your friend to get it for you, and you pay your friend back? She's like, yes, I know, but it wouldn't go through. And then, so I think if anybody is interested in getting it, then get it before the May 11th. Yeah, because I know people are. I mean, even me, right? We're all like, we only do things last minute. We know, like, okay, it's ending in 5 hours. I better get it now before.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a good tip, not to wait till the last minute, because
Yeah.
even if you don't have time right away, you do have until June 30th to download it.
Yeah,
So
that's the other
you
thing.
can buy it and then you can download it in a couple of days or the weekend or whenever. Don't wait too long. Don't wait too long, because then you
Yeah.
won't be able to download it.
Because and I always, like, almost after every bundle, I have somebody messaging me going like, oh, I was out of town and I wanted to come back and get it, and can I still get it? And I'm like, I'm not the organizer, I can't do that for you. You could get my course, but my course is already $50 US, so you might as well go get the bundle. Then for $50 US you get way more, not just my course.
Way more stuff. Yes, yes. So,
Yeah.
and if anyone has any questions about the bundle, you can reach out to either one of us. I'm sure, I know for myself, I'm happy to help. I have helped people with trying to figure out the transaction, or afterwards, like downloading it. How do you download it? And I'm happy to share or help with anything. I'm not saying that you are, but I'm kind of saying that you are. Are you okay with that? If someone wants to reach out,
Yeah. They can definitely
yeah.
message me to ask
So
me how. Yeah. I also saw Nate was doing a live yesterday on his Instagram. He was also showing how to download it as well. Yeah. So
perfect. Yeah. So, well, this has been so fun, a big learning experience. I always enjoy our time together, and I really thank you for coming on and sharing all about your beautiful Chinese takeout. That I am going to be playing around with these recipes, and I'm going to tag you and share with you what I make.
yay! I'm so happy.
So, and everybody else, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us, and for chatting with us. And like I always say, don't forget to eat your greens, and come on everyone, give plants a chance. They won't steer you wrong, and get the bundle. So anyways, well, we will see you next time. Thank you everyone, and take care.